Hey there. This is Gabriel Nicosia, King of Orion, author of Tilt and a bunch of other nonsense. I recently got a request about mission running and trying to get up to the 5 million ISK per tick point. Now, I've already talked about the best ISK per input, and it's 1.8 per 10 minutes or so, but it's spread out, which folks hear that and they're like, no, that's not 10 minutes, that's an hour. That's not 10 minutes, that's, anywhere from 45 to an hour, checking in, checking out. That's not accurate. But I kind of wanted to redirect focus. A lot of folks tend to specialize, and they over-specialize. And that works when you have no top end like an Omega, where, the whales are the peak. But for an alpha, at Tech 7 being the top end, there's a limit. There's a limit. So I want to take a look at the encounter system as it stands and talk about the best approach to actually maximize your use of the news board. Here is just what I've got for today. And if you notice, this mission has gold and is the last one on my bingo card because it's the rarest. And I've actually checked in on the missions every day for the last few days just for, my own benefit, my own shits and giggles. The thing about the mission system, so the ISK payouts are great. They're good. Comparatively, you're doing a medium or large anomaly and making an additional 500,000 to 5 million at Tech 7, at Advanced. For an alpha, that's pretty good money. The trouble is, you're not getting any assets. You don't get any resources. You don't get any modules or dropped loot. And as a result, you're missing out. You actually make less ISK overall doing missions than you would doing, say, base busting. Base busting alone, if you go out to a Tech 4 base and you kill all of the frigates and destroyers there, you get the bounties, you get the loot that they drop, and then the elites spawn. And you get the green loot, which individually is worth about 1 million to 2 million per. So if you're a new player and you want to make the most bang for your buck, tackling bases alone or with friends, that's the best bet. Folks were opposed to that because back when the game first started out, they had special anomalies that spawned. They've since changed those special anomalies, so they're no longer alpha accessible. You can do them, you can go to them, and occasionally they'll drop at the lower levels, but usually they spawn at Tech 10, which is well beyond the reach of any individual alpha. But mission running. So I could take this, I am going to take this actually, because you have about 6 hours to finish a mission, and you can run these sort of combat missions with specialized combat ships. There's the timer that shows 6 hours from time of receipt to time where you accept it. But let me show you what kind of ships I run my missions with, because diversification of assets and diversification of resource sources is extremely important. It allows you to flex as the markets lean one way or the other. So as an alpha, you're not beholden to over-specialization as, say, a battleship pilot or one of the big carriers. They're totally at the mercy of NetEase's balance, and there's a reason why they will never pay off the ships that they bought. Not without years of grinding. And they're on that treadmill to try and make number go up bigger. Instead of focusing on heuristics, like making more on the individual effort, using the resources that you have to the best benefit, max performing the aircraft, or in this case, the spacecraft. So here is my little mission runner. This is a Street Biter Thrasher 2. Now the Thrasher 2 is well within any alpha's means. It's very basic. But the fitting that I use is very strange. And the reason I use such a strange fitting is to do all of the missions at once. So if you'll notice, I've got a mining laser, 2 short-range autocannons, and a long gun. Now the mining laser and the long gun are for within compressed spaces, where I can't warp, and chewing up distance is more important reach is more important than anywhere else. The autocannons are for DPS, and the mining laser is to sample, really, the best rocks. But it's also useful in other ways. I'll go into that. Now let's notice the mid slots. I don't have any tackle because I don't actually want to engage with enemies. Like, if I am engaging with a target, it's because it's a target of opportunity that I discover en route to whatever mission I've accepted. And here's the thing too. Being able to accept any of the missions and all of the missions will vastly increase the amount of ISK coming in performing those missions. Because as I'm going along, I'm looking with my little blue scanner. I jump into a new system, I hit the blue scanner and see what's available. If it's a compressed space, dope. I will bookmark that and come back later with a miner. Or if I'm feeling frisky, I'll tackle it myself. If it's a special site, awesome. I'll come back with something equipped to tackle those special sites. And those usually range anywhere from 200 to 4 million ISK. If I get lucky, it's a crapshoot. And it depends entirely on where you're running the missions, which is usually high or low sec. I like high sec just because it's low energy and you still make, anywhere from 2 to 5 million per hour ish. The webs are defensive in nature. If I'm using them aggressively, it's only because I'm in a condensed space and the enemy is getting away. An enemy is used here loosely. The prey is getting away. As for the low slots, Afterburner and armor on a Thrasher, anybody who's familiar with Minmatar in Rust We Trust knows that their ships are built around shield and speed. Here's the thing though. If you lean into the strengths of the individual ship, yeah, you are max performing the ship within its capabilities, but you're not pursuing the mission overall. The purpose behind this multi-use craft, and I talk about it in the whole fleet concept and the whole ship concept, but the purpose behind this multi-use craft is to actually move goods. I've got 1,000 Veldspar, 1,000 Scordite, and 500 Pyroxeres, because the mission system subsidizes those. So I wake up, I pour my cup of joe, and I check the news, and I see what missions are available. And as I showed earlier, there was the big gold final ticket that'll get me my For Freedom scroll that you can use for about 30 million Iskin rewards. That's from the returns for the mission on top of the actual bounties for the enemies, but you don't get any assets. So it's all pay, no play. But let's look at some of the other options here. This Pyroxeres request. I'm going to take a look at that. Note the rewards. Come on. That's 0.25 million for 500, which is way more than you would get for the 500 outright. I'm going to accept that, and I'm going to start cruising. It's only 2 jumps away, and I've got the goods in my cargo. I don't need to actually mine more unless I want to, because I've got those assets stockpiled. I can deliver them and check off that mission box. One more thing when running missions, make sure your Concord Pass is aimed in that direction. You can multiply the benefits of completing those missions, not just monetarily, but for additional resources. So Concord Pass, mission, I've got 2 encounters underway, and then you can see kind of the progress there. ISK ain't everything, and in fact the best route to ISK is to focus fire on enemy bases, pirate bases specifically. The best bet for a solo player is Tech 4, Tech 5, and then if you're really feeling dangerous, Tech 6. Reason being, all of those leave you vulnerable to enemy players. They can invade and kill you. But that's a topic in its own right. The main thing here is to diversify the resources that you're pulling in across the board to break that 5 million ISK point. The point is, you're never going to get 5 million ISK ticks as an alpha, but you can take in about 5 million ISK worth in assets, so long as you know how to flip them and how to spread out your efforts and flex as needed. So, yeah. I hope you all have a good day. I'm thinking I might finish this out and then get back to writing. Talk to you later. Bye.